This is a review of my second Leesa mattress, and if you're wondering why it's my second Leesa mattress, here's some quick info. So I did have the first one some time ago and sent it back. I did ask Leesa if they do any of the returns that I could buy for cheap, which they don't do, but I did explain it because I'm doing these comparison reviews, and they said that would be fine. They would let me have a mattress, not for free. It cost me £1, and the agreement is that I do the comparison reviews. They have no input other than something I say is actually wrong. They have a right to correct it. All the opinions I make are my own. So Leesa is a company that's been around since 2014. Started in America, was started by two British guys who then came to the UK in 2016. Why is it called Leesa? As far as I could find out, it was the name of a friend of one of the co-founders. They do say in their marketing that they have many years experience in the mattress industry, or give the impression of that. If you see in the marketing something about many years in the mattress industry, that refers to one of their co-founders, Jamie Diamondstein. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but his family have actually been in the mattress business since 1974, so over 40 years. So he brings that experience to the company. The company is actually Paramount Mattress Inc. So Leesa is another online company. You can buy and try your mattress, and if you don't like it, you can send it back. You've got 100 nights to try it, 30-day minimum. That's because it takes a long time for your body to adjust to a new mattress. So 100-night trial. If you don't want it, you can just phone them up and say, I don't want it, and they will come and take it away for free, and they give it to a local charity. In fact, they are quite an ethical company, and anyway give 1 in 10 of their mattresses that they sell back to good causes. So obviously it will come vacuum packed, it will come in that box. You will obviously unwrap it and it will expand. Leesa do sell all over the world. They do sell, well, in many countries, including the USA, including the UK. So if you are not in the UK and watching this, I have to point out this is the UK version, and there are differences, but they are quite similar. So although the specs and foam are different across the continents, the configuration is basically the same, and I would imagine it's made to have kind of the same feel. Now, the foams are sourced locally. I have to say the Avena Foam obviously comes from a company called Carpenter, who are a German company, but obviously while the certification is different, it's that one company that make Avena Foam. So the USP of this mattress is in fact the Avena Foam, which I will come to when I show you all the layers, but it's a high quality polyfoam, and that's what is unique in the mattress wherever you get it. You know, the heights will be the same, the configuration will be the same, but there's some differences in the densities. So I think if you're not in the UK and you're in the USA, for instance, you will still get something out of this review. Just bear in mind, this is a UK specific version. One of the good things about Leesa is with some of these mattresses, you know, although they've been around 2, 3, 4 or so years, and you start reading the reviews and trying to get a feel of what people are thinking about the mattress, how's it going to relate to you, a lot of these online mattresses, for instance Eve, have changed a hell of a lot, not only, you know, from when they first started to what the mattress you'll buy now, but between continents. I have to say Leesa is very consistent. It's basically the same mattress as 2014 when they started. Obviously there's these regional differences, but the configuration is the same. So when you read the reviews, it's consistent, so you can get a good idea. You've got to be very careful with some of these companies where the reviews relate to a completely different mattress, albeit got the same brand name. So of course you want to know about the mattress, and one of the things people want to know first off is how responsive is it? And quite honestly, if you buy a polyfoam mattress as opposed to a memory foam mattress, it's going to be quite responsive. When I say polyfoam, given that it's, I assume, a high resiliency, high density polyfoam, which is what the modern foams, whereas it may say in the headlines of some mattress, ours is a polyfoam and it's really responsive, and you may think, well, that's good, that must be better than one of the others. They're all pretty responsive, and I'll show you how responsive Leesa is. 32 pound, 16 kilo weight. This is a hefty weight, I can tell you. So I'm going to show you how quick it will respond to changes in your sleeping position. So imagine you're sleeping, you change position, people want to know how quick after you shifted position does it come back to its shape. So when I take away this 16 kilo weight, you can see it's pretty much immediate. There's no retaining of your body shape. I have to point out that it is on the soft side compared to some, for instance, compared to a Casper, for instance. So it's slightly slower than, say, a Casper may be due to the softness, but it's pretty much, you know, not a split second, but that's almost instant enough to say it's not a problem at all. The top cover is 100% polyester. Now, be careful, some information still talks about polyester lycra blends. They did used to have a polyester lycra blend, but it's now 100% polyester, but it still feels pretty stretchy. You know, lycra would have given it even more stretchy properties, and it's, you know, it's not huge, it's not lycra-like stretchy, but it's stretchy. Now, I don't have any problems with cooling, but it is a thick plush, lovely feeling cover, but of course a thicker cover may alleviate some of the cooling properties. Now, Avena Foam, which is a high resiliency, high quality polyfoam, one of the different things about that is it's aerated, like you would get with some latexes. So you've got holes all the way across the surface, right through that layer, which gives you more air circulation, which leads to better air cooling. Now, none of these modern polyfoams are bad, they're all open cell technology, but it just gives it the edge over a solid slab of polyfoam. But my own personal feeling is it's alleviated somewhat by this thick cover, which is a lovely cover, and I haven't had any heat retention problems, but I'm not that particularly sensitive to it. It's just something I wanted to point out. I do like that they've put some branding on it with these 4 stripes, so it's not quite the white top, grey, black surround that you get on most of these mattresses. This is some imagination going. So I'd call this like a grey stroke, very light blue with the 4 stripes. These mattresses that come with their own integrated base layer, you can't flip them over as you would some mattresses to lengthen the time between it retaining your body shape, which over time, obviously all foam mattresses are going to do to some extent. But what you can do and should do is rotate them, so your head and shoulders are in a different position. Now, it may be a small point, but these stripes do allow you to remember which way round the bed was the last time you turned it. One of the things I don't like about the top cover is it's an all-in-one. Now, you can't machine wash this cover, you can only spot clean it, so maybe you'd only clean it in place, but if you wanted to take it off, you've got to come right under and unzip it from the right at the bottom. It's not even on the edge, it's right at the bottom. It's pretty awkward, and it doesn't go all the way around, so it doesn't actually come off completely. So that flap will go across, and then you've got to pull the whole thing off, and then when you want to put it in, but it's awkward. The other thing, some mattresses now are putting handles on the side, which we don't have here, do make a big difference, because when you are trying to move your foam mattress about and you start grabbing it like that, you're going to get bits of foam coming off. The foam on these are quite brittle, and you will get clumps coming off in your hand. So it avoids that and makes it easier to carry anyway with handles on the side. Well, when I say on the side, I mean on the bottom, but I would like on the side as well. But most of them have, the ones that have handles, put them on the bottom. I'm going to show you just how it feels when I'm laying on it. So who's it going to suit? I have to say, for me, Leesa, now they all say one mattress for everybody, and our mattress suits everybody, and we've redesigned it and it's amazing, and you only need one mattress, and no matter who you are, what weight, but of course that's pure marketing. But as much as you can have one mattress that suits the most amount of people compared to other mattresses, I think Leesa kind of strike that middle ground. The holes in the top layer do make it a little bit softer than if it didn't have that. So it's not soft as in sinking right in, and it's not firm as in you're laying right on the top. Some people may call it sleeping on the cloud. I would say more like sleeping on something very firm. But it's that feeling that you're laying on the top of the mattress rather than sinking in. And I think this really does hit the middle ground. And so if you're not sure of what kind of mattress you're looking for, starting with Leesa is not a bad way to go, because it is the middle ground between, you know, the ones that are softer, the ones that are firmer. This is about the point at which I really start feeling a firm support without it being firm. Now, I sleep on the Casper mainly, because it fills out my lower back a little bit more. But there isn't a lot between this and the Casper. But if you're going to describe the difference between the Leesa mattress and the Casper mattress, Leesa is on the softer side, marginally. There's not a huge amount in it, but the spot relief is better on the Casper. So when I push my hands down, the amount of foam over here being affected is more on Leesa due to that softness than on Casper. On the other hand, when I'm laying on my side, I'm getting less pressure, obviously, on my shoulder on the Leesa than on the Casper. So I think overall, no matter for all types of sleepers, Leesa is the middle ground and a good starting point for mattress. You know, Leesa will suit anybody in any position. Bearing in mind, I'm 13 stone. If you're heavier than me, it's going to feel even softer. If you're lighter than me, it's going to feel a bit firmer. So when I describe it as middle ground soft, you've got to bear in mind your own body shape. But for me, I can sleep in any position, front, side, back, and be happy. Any firmer than this, I'm getting issues on my shoulder. So this is just the right softness, just the right firmness that I don't get issues. I'm sinking just enough on the shoulder that I'm not getting a real pressure point there. So it's soft enough not to get problems on the shoulder, but firm enough that if I lay on my tummy, I'm not sinking in past the point where I'm going to start getting problems on my back. Obviously, stomach sleeping is terrible, but the Leesa is fine. And on my back, my only issue, it's really comfortable for me. My only issue is the spot relief is not quite as good as I like, because I like to get something absolutely definite in my lumbar region, the curve in my spine. My hips go down, and just above that, I need to feel something supporting that arch in the back. And it does support, but just a little bit less than the Casper, which is why I preferred sleeping on the Casper. But I would say this is more comfortable for me than the Casper. But when I wake up in the morning, I may not be saying that because I haven't had the support in my lower back. My main point being, I think of all the mattresses I've tried, Leesa strikes the middle ground. And even if you don't like Leesa, it will tell you if you really want something firmer or softer. Bear in mind, that is a foam mattress. While they all talk about 10-year warranties, you cannot expect a foam mattress to last you more than 5 years. It's simply the inherent properties of a foam mattress, which is why latex is more premium, because it has better resiliency down the line. Now, some foam mattresses are better than others, and what you're looking for is higher densities. The higher densities meaning you have more material in a given space. It will break down slower over time, but they will all break down. You will find all these warranties say a 1-inch sag is acceptable. You can't claim on a 1-inch sag. You can start claiming after a 1-inch sag, but a 1-inch sag already makes it unusable, doesn't it? You don't want any sag at the end of the day, because the idea is of a foam mattress is you're getting good support where you need it in the pressure areas, and it's moulding to your body shape is what people are looking for in a foam mattress. But it's not just the feel. It's really important with a foam mattress to be looking at the specs. And I have to say, some companies are better than others in openly telling you the specs. Leesa are one of those companies that will openly tell you all the specs. So that makes me feel a bit more confident when I buy a mattress. Some companies literally won't even tell you the densities. It's extraordinary, but it just shows you that a lot of this marketing is based on people really not knowing or not wanting to know that much about a mattress. You see the headline 10-year warranty and you're thinking, well, does it matter? I've got a 10-year warranty. But if you dig into the warranties, and I'm not picking out any one company because they're consistent across companies, there are a lot of things they don't cover. And basically, other than a major manufacturing defect, there's not much you can claim on. As I say, 1-inch sag is already considered acceptable for your warranty. Now, so I want to show you the layers, and obviously I'm going to have to take off the cover, and I'll show you why. It's a bit awkward. So imagine you've got a king size, and this is what you've got to do to take the cover off. as opposed to some of the mattresses where you can just take the top cover off separate to the others. So although I like the feel of it, there's definitely downsides. I mean, maybe they've made an all-in-one because you can't machine wash it, because you've got to spot clean it anyway. So now the cover is off, here are the layers. One thing I'm going to point out is the layers are 5 centimeters 2 inches, 5 centimeters 2 inches, 15 centimeters 6 inches, but because of the way it's glued, this layer of mine is 4 centimeters. If I actually try and pull some of that foam away, it is indeed 5 centimeters in depth, but the way it's been glued means that it's actually 4 centimeters on the mattress, which means, whereas they say the mattress is a total height of 25 centimeters, mine is 24 centimeters. Just want to point that out. So this is what Leesa is all about, really. So, you know, if you're looking for something that has something unique about it, only the Leesa mattress comes with the Avena Foam. Avena Foam is a high quality polyfoam. Polyfoam is polyurethane foam. And it's different because it has all these holes in. Well, they would say it's also different because it's actually more resilient than some types of latex. Now, you get all sorts of blends of latex. In their publication, it does quote a couple of tests where this polyfoam comes out with more resiliency, so it keeps its properties longer than some blends of latex. Now, it's not actually telling you what blends, and you can get low quality blends, and they're trying to say this really is as good as a latex. Now I think that's going a bit far, but it's certainly going to have more resiliency than a normal polyfoam. So it's certainly a high quality polyfoam. You can get a better idea of its responsiveness now that the cover is off. So you're laying on, you've been sleeping for 10 hours. There's no retaining of the body shape, but I have to say that's going to be the same with all these polyfoam mattresses that use high density polyfoam. Now, I say high density, the UK mattress has a spec of 50 kilos per cubic meter, whereas the USA one has 58 kilos per cubic meter. I was curious as to whether those specs were before or after the holes are made, and they say it's after. So that would be one, if it's the measure, if that's the weight after these holes have been created, obviously you're losing material, and so that would equate to, obviously, without the holes, a higher density. So whereas I would expect on a mattress like this to have a density of about 58 kilo per cubic meter, which is what they quote for the USA one, so a little bit lower is what I would expect. When you've aerated it with these little holes, you would expect it to weigh quite significantly less, but what you're gaining is the cooling property. So you're benefiting in terms of you're now getting greater air circulation, so less heat build up. As I say, kind of lessened by the thick cover, but that's only me guessing, because I can't say I've noticed any heat build up. So I'm not saying that's caused an issue. I'm just saying, off the top of my head, some of the thinner, stretchier, apparently more breathable covers may have made more of the fact that this has good cooling properties. But that's the Avena Foam. They keep comparing it to latex, but just bear in mind it isn't latex. It is polyfoam, but it is a high quality polyfoam. Also bear in mind, you've got 5 centimeters. Now, I'm not saying 5 centimeters is huge for a layer, but it's certainly up there with other similar online mattresses that they seem to be reducing the layer sizes over time, and you can get like 1 inch and 1 inch. But at least this is of some significance that actually ends up being a lot to do with the feel of the mattress, in that it's a soft feeling mattress. So, and the fact that you've got this aerated top polyfoam, which makes it softer, because there's more give, there's less material there, certainly means it's affecting the overall properties in a significant way. Now, you know, there are more responsive polyfoam top layers that I've tried, but just got to bear in mind this is affected by those holes, but that's also makes it more comfortable to me, I would describe it as more comfortable because it has that softer feel. So it's that plush sinking feel, but not so much that you're going to get a heat build up, not so much that you lose support. You've got your 5 centimeters of polyfoam, 5 centimeters, 2 inches of memory foam. The memory foam spec on this one is 50 kilos per cubic meter, which is basically the same as in the US. So the difference between putting a memory foam under the top layer, as opposed to like on the Eve where the memory foam is the top layer, is it's changing what it's doing to the mattress. So whereas you would, on the top layer, it's your comfort layer and it's giving great spot relief, but it retains heat by doing that. Memory foam works by reacting to the heat of your body and molding itself around that part of the body. So where you put most pressure on is wrapping around more than in other areas. When it's this sort of size on the top, it's the comfort layer. When it's put under that top layer, it loses the ability to start reacting to your heat. But what it does do, it kind of gives it deadens the feel of the mattress. So if that wasn't there, it would feel more springy, but it's also giving a little bit more softness to the overall feel. So without that there, it's going to feel firmer. So putting it there, it's deadening the feel of the mattress. So that's helping with motion transfer, and it's also providing a transition layer to between your much firmer base layer. So you don't want a quick transition from the top layer to a base layer, because that would be uncomfortable, and I kind of get that feel on the Eve. It's a bit quick, the transition from soft to firm. But configuring these mattresses like this, and obviously it's nothing major. I know they say they've redesigned it like everybody else, but this is pretty much a common way to configure a mattress now. Polyfoam top. As I say, I quite like the Leesa. Well, I like it a lot. It's just not quite enough spot relief for me, but I always know if I sleep on it, I'm going to have a comfortable night's sleep. Now the base layer, 15 centimeters, 6 inches, it's 35 kilos per cubic meter as opposed to 28 kilos per cubic meter in the US. So that kind of is the other way around to how the other layers are spec between continents. I have to say, that's a good density for a base layer. You know, that's about as high as you're going to get in these mattresses for a base layer, which kind of is out of whack with the other two layers, which are kind of baseline. You know, there's nothing special in these densities, whereas it's pretty good density. So you would expect decent longevity out of this mattress. But when I say decent longevity, you got to reckon on 5 years, and probably from the day you start sleeping on any foam mattress, it's going to start softening up. So that's why sometimes I think it may be better starting with something that's a little bit firmer than you'd like, so it's going to be in your comfort zone for longer. So that's why, again, I think Leesa is a good mattress as a starting point, because it's in the middle. You start with something that's softer, say for instance a Simba, which is too soft for me, but a lot of people like, but it's going to start getting softer from that point onwards. So you could be out of your comfort zone much quicker than on a mattress that you start off feeling a bit firmer. I found the edge support is basically the same across similar mattresses. So the edge support, you know, when you're sitting on the edge, if you're putting your shoes on or something, when you're sitting on the edge of the bed, or when you're rolling towards the edge, what you don't want is it collapsing and then you fall off the side of your bed. So they're obviously going to give a bit more as you get right to the edge. The edge support is never going to be the greatest on these foam mattresses, but Leesa is in line with the edge support you're going to get on Casper. It's in line with the edge support you're going to get on Eve. It's going to be not quite as good as a solid mattress like Bruno, which has a latex top layer. Well, if I stand on it, now obviously that's literally not what's going to happen when you're sitting on it. That makes it look much worse than it is, but you see it's only giving down to that base layer. So when you're actually sitting on it and you're a little bit further back, it's not going to collapse on you. It's going to be good enough to hold your weight, but it's going to give about 30% of its height. And as I say, it's just in line with any similar mattress that you're going to buy. In terms of if it feels firm or soft, what I call the sinkage. Now, so when I place a weight in the middle, and when I do the test, I actually use a 20 kilo weight. So if I measure on a 20 kilo weight how much dip I'm getting at that point, I'm getting the same on the Leesa as I get on the Casper, but because it's actually a softer mattress altogether, the Casper will have a firmer feel. Although the sinkage is the same, it has a firmer feel. Casper has better spot relief, so that it will fill in my lower lumbar region better. But just point out, they have the same amount of sinkage, so they will wrap around a similar amount, but it will feel softer on the Leesa. So because Casper doesn't have these holes, it has more of the spring back that you'd get on, say, a latex mattress, makes it feel firmer, which is not great on the shoulders. So if you're predominantly a side sleeper, Leesa is certainly preferred over Casper. If you're a stomach sleeper, a tummy sleeper, Casper may be a little bit better for you. So in terms of the feel, Leesa is also firmer than a Simba mattress, which I found pretty surprisingly soft for a latex top mattress. Leesa is softer than an Eve mattress, which I found surprisingly firm feeling. It's about the same as the Casper, but feels softer, and is considerably softer than the Bruno mattress. So I'm just talking about mattresses that I've tried. So for cooling, it's going to be one of the better mattresses. If you're looking for a polyfoam mattress and it's particularly important to you if it sleeps cool, it's one of the better polyfoam. But then again, I have to say something like the Bruno, which is the latex top, latex having better cooling properties, and because it's considerably firmer and you're sleeping right on the top of the surface rather than sinking in, you're going to sleep cooler. But it's just got to bear in mind, not only does it sleep cool or hot if you're particularly sensitive to that, but will it still be in line in the feel that you want from mattress? I still think the Leesa mattress does strike that middle ground, about the best that I've tried so far at the price range. Obviously, you've got to remember, these are kind of budget. I mean, I know they're not cheap, but they're still in the budget end. I mean, even Leesa's marketing says it's the most premium mattress you can get under £1,000. Now, you can clearly argue about what's premium and is it the best, blah, blah, blah. But then again, if Eve can say they are the world's best mattress, I guess you can say just about anything. But in terms of mattresses at this price point, it's, you know, I think for all the properties, it hits that average middle ground. Now, it may not actually be the best for anyone in that sense, but for all the properties, you know, all the things you're looking for a mattress, I still think it strikes that middle ground. Perhaps, you know, its weakest point would be spot relief. You may think because it's a softer mattress, it's going to be pretty good, but because the holes, I think, do not lend themselves well to spot relief. More of the foam is affected as you push down into it. So in terms of actual spot relief, i.e. how much more of the foam is affected than the actual areas where you're pressing down the hardest, it's not the best. But then that also works out well on the shoulders, where, you know, it's not pressing at all, even around the shoulders, because more of the foam has been pushed out. Is it a good mattress for sex? Well, depends on your criteria, obviously. I have to say, for me, a good mattress for sex means it has a good balance between comfort and springiness. So Leesa because it's softer to start with, it's a little behind the ones that I would think of as best, but you know, and again, it's about the middle ground. But what would be better? Bruno, which is an extremely bouncy, springy mattress, and Casper would be a little bit better from my personal point of view. Obviously, it's highly subjective, but it's something that people want to know. So I'm just putting it out there that, you know, if that's what you're looking for, being on the softer side, not that bouncy, it's maybe not the best, but then better than a Simba, better than an Eve. In terms of motion transfer, so your partner is falling down on one side, is that going to wake you up on the other? Again, pretty average for a polyfoam. This is my test of the motion transfer. So you can see most of these polyfoams go out, when I do that test, they go out to about the halfway mark, and Leesa is in line with that. Now, if I do it on the Bruno, the motion transfer is going right out to the end. So you can certainly get a lot worse. You get a little bit better, for instance, with a memory foam like top layer, such as the Eve, but then you lose in other areas. But in terms of what's this like for motion transfer, it's in line with similar mattresses. When I say that, I'm talking about polyfoam top layer. It's about what you would expect if you've already slept on a polyfoam mattress. Something else everybody wants to know, does it smell? What's it like for off-gassing? And here again, I guess there's a difference between the USA and the UK, because in the USA it's certified to have low VOCs, low volatile organic compounds, which are the smells you get when they leach out of the mattress. I got a smell for about a week. Not a bad smell, but there was a definite chemically smell for about a week with the Leesa, which is a little bit worse than most of the mattresses I've tried, but it was gone after a week. Never, you know, she'd never sleep on a polyfoam or any foam mattress in the first 48 hours. They're going to leach chemicals in those first 48 hours. So most of that was leached in 48 hours, but if I put my nose right to it, I have to say it did linger for that first week, but now there is no smell. So if you're particularly sensitive to off-gassing, as it's called, that's something to bear in mind, but after a week, I can't smell anything. So you've bought your Leesa mattress. What base should you put it on? With a foam mattress, you're looking for a solid base, but something that allows air circulation, so you do not put it on the floor. Something ideal would be a slated base where the slats are no more than 3 inches, a maximum of 5 inches apart. That allows for air circulation, but doesn't have a big gap where the foam can start sinking in through those gaps, which will damage the foam. So that would be an ideal base, but most bases where it's pretty solid, where there's no big gaps between slats, you can of course put it on a solid base, but you're using air circulation, which could have detrimental effects. So it's never good for hygiene reasons. So overall, you know, I have to say, if I'm only ever going to recommend one mattress, the safest option is the Leesa mattress. So you could say in some ways it's an absolutely average mattress, but it's your safest option. If you're struggling to get the right choice, or you don't know really have any idea of what kind of a mattress you're looking for, it is a good starting point, because it really is the middle ground. Now, while bearing in mind everybody has a different idea of what is comfortable, everyone has a different body shape, is used to different feel, as long as your spine remains aligned in whatever sleeping position you prefer, then you're safe. You're just looking for the kind of feel you want. And, you know, I would describe Leesa, for me, at 13 stone 6 foot, as a very comfortable mattress, just lacking a little bit of spot relief. So I have lower back issues, so it's really important that my lumbar region is supported while my hips give way, and that is a weak area for the Leesa. It lacks a little bit of bounce, so I'd like a little bit more bounce. If your preference is for a good mattress for sex, the motion transfer is right in the middle ground for a polyfoam mattress. The smells lingered a little bit for a week, but only a little bit if you put your nose right to it, and it's now completely free of smells. The fact that it uses Avena foam on the top, on paper that means the longevity should be as good or better than any other similar mattresses, which is important, because when mattresses start to sag and lose their properties and soften up, it's that top layer where that becomes most noticeable over time and will happen first. So having a high quality, high density, high resiliency polyfoam on top is the thing about Leesa, and the fact that it's got these holes in makes for good air cooling if you're looking for a polyfoam mattress, but definitely want to be on the safe side of heat retention. Again, Leesa would be the way to go. The edge support is in line with all similar mattresses. Even pricing is like the middle ground. I mean, it really is, I have to say, the middle ground. It may not be the best mattress that most people could get, but it would probably be on the safe side for most people. Even safe no matter what sleeping position you are. But bear in mind, if you're lighter than me, it's firmer. If you're heavier than me, it's softer. So your starting point really should be the feel that you want. And for what size are you? Is that going to align your spine? Remember, no matter, even though they talk about it's the most premium mattress under £1,000, you know, latex, in fact, you know, in a solid latex mattress, that's a premium foam mattress. Latex, a decent quality latex, it's going to last longer than a polyfoam. So overall, you know, you can do a lot worse than get a Leesa mattress. Even it's a 100-night trial, it's a bit of a no-brainer if you're really unsure of what you want, because if you find the smells too much, if you find it's too soft, not enough bounce, you want better motion transference properties, whatever you want, it's the middle ground. So, and you'll know where to what to try for after that. Look, I'm not saying it's even the best mattress for me. For me, I prefer the Casper, or even Eve mattress with a memory foam topper on that. Either Casper is more supportive for me and I will get less backache, or Eve with the memory foam topper is really, really comfortable, but probably just not quite enough support. So I'm not saying even for me it's the best mattress, but I'm saying it's the safest option if you're not using a topper. If you want a mattress ready to go and you're not looking to try and configure it in any other way, and you're unsure of what you may want, these things, I described it on my website. By the way, all this information is on my website at odsa.com. But I describe it as the Goldilocks, and and I think it is, in the sense that it's the safest ground for most of the properties most people are looking at when deciding to choose a mattress. So hope you got something out of that, and thanks for watching.